When you're ready.
All right. Andre, do you want to introduce, or how would you like to go forward with this?
Everybody knows you. Let's do it.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for taking time out of your busy day for this training. Myself and David are going to help you with regards to some ideas, tips on how to approach people. One of the biggest difficulties people have is exactly that, is trying to pass this wonderful opportunity to people. For some, it will resonate, others it will not. Now, I don't know if Pessy is here on board. Pessy, are you here?
I'm not seeing him in the participant
You're not
list.
seeing him. Okay. Sorry, he gives his apologies for not being able to join us today. We had him as part of the presentation, but he has a very bad throat problem, a cold, fever, and everything. So we miss our Pessy.
Going around.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? He's got it bad. He doesn't get sick often, but he got it quite bad. So thank you again for everybody for being here. I'm going to pass it over to David. He's going to do a brief introduction, and then we're going to get on to the PowerPoint slides. Does everybody see those this first slide?
Yep.
We do.
Yep.
Let me put it this way, anybody who does not. Wonderful. That sounds like everybody does. All right, so I'm going to pass it over to David. David, could you just give us a brief introduction, please?
Okay, just a few things I just wanted to cover. And one of the things that CFI was founded on is holistic principles. And what it does, it actually embraces the philosophy of people helping people, which actually helps to form a strong and vibrant community. Now, each participant, as an individual and the team, are all contributing towards fulfilling their project goals, and in the process, others through collaboration. It's really a pay-it-forward type of philosophy, and on and of itself, it fosters a transformational process of moving from what is the I to the we consciousness, which is a shift that we're currently going through right now. And as a result, it taps into humanity's innate attributes, that of a loving and nurturing, fostering a collaborative environment. Now, another important feature is really the fairness and the opportunity and the equitable distribution of the funds through the donation of the platform. There is absolutely no discrimination between the projects, which is very, very powerful. It has each project has equal importance, and it's given to all projects, recognizing that each has their own needs that are important to them. Now, by tapping into the collective synergy of the group, we're able to achieve more for less, which means we're focusing on what we love to do, allowing all to grow at our own pace. Now, also, it provides an opportunity for the less fortunate to partake in a meaningful way and achieve their financial goals, all of which fosters oneness and a balanced and harmonious lifestyle. Now, you may not be aware, but crowdfunding has been gaining a lot of traction over the last few years as a great opportunity to raise funds for all types of needs or desires for people and organizations. Now, CFI is one of those crowdfunding platforms that provides us with a tool to free ourselves from financial encumbrances and gain financial independence. Now, although it's been around for a while, crowdfunding is a new concept to many. So what we have discovered in presenting crowdfunding, especially the CFI way, it is important to communicate the approach to others in a simple and concise way. And the key is that not to sell or convince, but instead we're informing and educating and then communicating what is involved. Simply, you share the concept, you allow people to make an educated decision and as to whether or not this crowdfunding platform resonates with them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it back over to Lise. She's going to offer some tips on the training, how we present this, and what's been effective, and about this exciting platform that we've been sharing with other people for the past year and a half.
Great, thank you, David. Welcome, Pessy. I just see that you popped on there. Hope you're feeling better.
Right. Yes, I'm feeling better.
Oh, good. You don't sound so great, but you look great. All right, David, you can proceed to the first slide. Okay, the common mistake that we all make, number one mistake, we often do this, we almost all do this. I certainly did it, David did it, Pessy did it when we first started this endeavor, and that is to talk too much about the company. Once you come to know all about the company, you'll learn the statistics, where it's from, the successes, etc., which are all very exciting, and of course we want to share it to somebody else who we think would resonate with this or have a good opportunity, to fulfill it. I really urge you not to do that. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what to do instead. So facts, like things like how many project managers they're currently on, which by the way, folks, are 67,000 approximately, and very quickly growing. And how many countries that we're in, which is 162 countries. It has a head office, with a staff of over 15 people in the Netherlands. These are all excellent points, but not to tell your folks from the get-go. What we want to do from the get-go is focus on them. If you talk about statistics, what do people do? They check out. It's just too much information on the beginning. They know nothing about this opportunity. They know nothing about Crowdfunding International. They may not know anything about crowdfunding in general. So these sort of things will just, as my father used to say, 747, right over the head. It just doesn't register, and you're just going to lose them. All right. So let me show you another way in which to connect with people. Next. Okay. Instead, ask them the curiosity, what we call the curiosity question. And this is a formal way that we've put it. Do you want to raise money for something important to you, business or personal? There are other ways to say this line as well, as in, is there something that you want to raise money for? Do you need money? What would you like to do if you had the money to do it? All right, there's many different ways to present this question, and I urge you to find whatever's comfortable for you. But what that simply does is it asks the individual that you're addressing about what it is that they want to do. Important. Again, what I said earlier is don't talk about the company, talk about the individual. So I've just met David, and I say hello to David. David, I've come across this very interesting endeavor. I'm going to tell you more about it, but first I just want to ask you, do you want to raise money for something that's important to you? All right. Most of the time people will say, yes, there is, whether it's the mortgage, whether it's to improve things on your home, whether it's to help people in third world countries, whether it's to open a car dealership. We have somebody on our team who wants to open a car dealership. Whatever somebody's desire, dream, or need, that's their personal desire, dream, or need, and we're not going to judge it. What we're going to do is show them a way in which they can accomplish that desire, need, or dream. Okay, so you meet with them. I just ask people right off, hi, how you doing? The introductions, and then I say, hey, is there something you need money for? No, almost, like I said, most people will say that there is. Okay, David? Okay, so when you find out what it is, so David tells me that he wants to get money for retirement. He's self-employed and he doesn't have a pension, and he needs money for his retirement. So once I find that out from David, I've introed to David, I've asked him the question, is there something that you need money for? And he says, yeah, Lee's retirement. I really haven't saved up for retirement. I don't have a pension. So I say to him, all right, crowdfunding can help you with your retirement. All right. So again, I've not talked one bit about the company yet. I've simply said, okay, let's talk about what it is that you are interested in. It's retirement that you tell me, and I'm going to tell you how crowdfunding can help you with that retirement, gain those funds that you wish to acquire for your retirement. All right. So all I've done here is accent the benefits of what he wants. asked them the intro, hello, and all that fun stuff, and asked them the curiosity question, found out what it is that they want to accomplish, their dream, wish, need, etc. And then I tell them that this particular crowdfunding operation can help you acquire your retirement desire. Now, these are just some examples. There are many. It's amazing. We have currently, and David, you're gonna have to correct me, 260 some people on our team.
265.
265. He's the numbers man. 265 people on our team currently. And I have to tell you, the variety of projects, because that's exactly what you have, are vast. I think somebody else, Mathieu, welcome, bienvenue. There is a real variety of projects, desires, needs, wishes, wants that people have anywhere, as I mentioned, from helping with charities to medical, to retirement, to opening a car dealership, anything. And again, those are individual needs, and we do not want to judge them. What we want to do is thank them for helping us to help other people and helping our dream as well. So some examples: retirement, as I mentioned, becoming debt-free. Who doesn't want to become debt-free? North Americans are the largest in-debt people in the world, and who doesn't want to at least have a better hold on what our debt? Travel, many people want to travel. Wellness, charity, education, and your own business, whether that's opening your own business or making your own business prosper. Okay, so these are some benefits that you'll come across. But again, these are benefits that the individual wants. So you want to focus on what it is that they want. I'll tell you a quick story. When Pessy and I got involved with this, we were spearheading an organization called the Ottawa West Holistic Chamber of Commerce. And one of our members brought this to our attention. We were trying to raise money for an autistic boy. And she said, would you like to raise more money quicker? And would you like to help yourself doing it? And I said, well, that's for sure. We both said, yes, let's hear it out. So we went and met David and another gentleman named Robert. And they mentioned to us, they asked us that question. And I was stumped, actually, because I wasn't quite sure what it is that I wanted to raise money for. I pretty much had things sorted out. And so what they took me through was some examples. And that's why I bring it forth here, some of these examples. And I urge you to look at, other potential examples as well. Write them down. I write everything down, whether it's in a book or in little sticky notes, but write them down, because you will at some point, or you may at some point, have to present to people some options. So that's exactly what back to David and Robert, is they presented some options to me. They said, what about travel? I said, well, as a matter of fact, I've done a lot of that, and I'm pretty okay with the travel, and I've got little funds aside for that. And they went through different things and then hit retirement, and boom, bing, bang, it kind of dawned on me, I guess I should be saving for a retirement fund, because I too am self-employed. So that started our discussion, and I'd also wanted to do more from a philanthropic point of view, and so we focused on those two things. All right, and that was how we started our conversation. And again, David and Robert never said anything to me at that juncture about the organization. Pessy and I looked at each other. We knew right away this is what something we wanted to do, because we loved the pay it forward concept. Excuse me. And so we just nodded at each other and said, okay, let's do this. And we did, met with Robert and David, and we're ready to sign up. And we said, oh, by the way, maybe you should tell us a little bit more about what this is all about and how it functions, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll have to tell you, that was 2015, David?
Yeah, yes, 2000. Well, no, it was 2016 in May.
Pardon me, May of 2016. So a year and a bit later. And back then, I'll have to tell you, folks, the company was doing well, but not anywhere near as well as it is now, and wasn't as developed. So it has come a long way. Okay, David? Okay, so now you found out the benefit, their desire. They've answered the question. They want to focus on putting together retirement funds for themselves. Now you want to, so you found that out. So David, you know what? Crowdfunding can help you develop your retirement fund. So how would that make you feel, David? All right. Now, what they will simply do is give you an answer. Oftentimes will give you an answer, because people, when they have a desire or a dream to do something, whether it's retirement, which is going to make you feel peace of mind potentially, or stress-free, because you don't have to continue worrying about how you're going to get funds, or whether it's helping young children in Africa, develop a school, which is going to make you feel like a sense of accomplishment or gratitude, or, whatever it is that makes you feel, that's what you want to tap into. So you found out what's going to make them happy with regards to raising funds, and then you tap into how is that going to make you feel. Okay, it's going to make you, for example, feel a peace of mind, stress-free, comfort, a sense of adventure, those who might want to travel, freedom, a gratitude, achievement, accomplishment. All right. And there are many different things that people will feel. Those things will often come right out of people's mouths, because they can envision themselves helping children in third world countries. They can envision themselves traveling. They can envision themselves, because they've wanted to do it for oftentimes for a very long time. So trying to tap into that, tap into what their desire is, their personal desire, and then tap into how it's going to make them feel. Okay, David? Because if you focus on how they feel, people get it. All right? They get the idea before you've talked one iota about the organization, about how many countries they're in, about crowdfunding on its own, because they're going to get you've started them feeling about what it is that they want. All right? People are driven by emotions. When I was in the media business, I was hiring often. And when I did interviews, that's what I would do, is ask people a lot of emotional questions, not so much about what they did with regards to the job that I was hiring them for, but what they felt when they were doing it, what they could contribute. Because certainly in the workforce, you hire people 80% for their soft skills, not for their hard skills, because you want them to be team players. You want them to have compassion. You want them to have respect for one another. Those things are key. And those are all feelings. Those are all emotions. And people within your team are driven by each other's emotions and each other's way they treat one another. So focus on how that's going to make them feel. Ask the question, find out what that is, compliment on them. Excellent. Good for you that you want to raise money to help your mother with her medical expenses. Great that you want to travel. Traveling is wonderful. How is that going to make you feel if you can help your mother with her medical expenses? All right. And you get people talking about what it is and how they feel they're able to accomplish their new dream wish. Okay?
And can I just add one thing to that?
Absolutely.
To particularly why Bill and I in the community that's on this line for the most part, we're driven to this, is people or humanity don't want to believe that they could actually dream again. There's a lot of resistance in the consciousness of this planet to thinking that change is possible. And so what I realized is when you get to those conversations, what you're really doing is inviting people to open up to the possibility of what their life would be like if they had financial freedom. People don't even believe it's possible. And so it's getting under that element that I think what we've seen is really important. And you're right, I've not gone at it completely from that direction. And so thank you for sharing that, because that'll help me shift it when I'm speaking to people.
Excellent. And thank you for that, Andrea. It's so true. People don't dream. When I ask people often, what is it that, in one of my interview questions, and this is years back, I would say, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you do? Anything, just put it out there. And it's interesting. So many people did not have the answer. They just didn't have the answer. Anything, I'd say absolutely anything. What is it you can do? And many people would say, well, I'd like to have $1 million. And then my next question to that was, well, what would you do with $1 million? And again, that's, I mean, I pay off my mortgage, I do this, I do that. But a lot of times people just don't dream on what it is that they can do and they can potentially accomplish. Yeah. And that's, you know, it's sad sometimes. I think that is changing, but it's sad because we are raised to believe that we have limitations, that there are barriers in what it is that we can do and cannot do. You know, I went to Africa years ago in 1996 for 7 years. I wanted to travel the world. There's no doubt about it. And when I went there, I went to visit my aunt, and then a gentleman, I was in the media at the time, and a gentleman approached me and said, would you help me open a TV station? You know, and I'd love to, sure, but I just didn't know where and how to start. And I couldn't even dream. I didn't at that time, although I was a pretty, you know, positive and open-minded person, I didn't have the idea or the dream of actually accomplishing it. So I just said, well, I'm going to go do it. I mean, the money certainly helped. He offered a whole lot of money, but that was definitely a great motivator. But I just dreamed about what this could look like. But before that, I did not at all. It really hit me in the face. It just as this has hit Pessy and I in the face, and David. There's just so much that you can do. So don't limit yourself. Absolutely do not limit yourself. Okay, David. Okay, so our next common mistake is that we use the same generic message. So for example, let me go back to my example with David and Robert when they talked to Pessy and I about what we would like to use the money for. Instantly, we said the autistic boy for sure, but that was just a small portion. There was so much more to do. We didn't know the extent of this particular platform and that we could do more to this, you know, than helping this young boy. So, and certainly no slant to Rebel, but he said to me, well, Lise, maybe, you know, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do that. I said, no, not particularly. No, not particularly. Those things didn't interest me. So be careful when you're talking to people. I urge you. I mean, my dream is to help people in third world. My dream is to travel. There's no doubt about it. But I have two sisters that when I lived in Africa, I couldn't get them over there. My mother, she was always traveling with me, but my two sisters had no desire to travel, which, you know, was, you know, inconceivable to me, but that's their desire. They are homebodies. They love to be at home around their family. They love Canada and they stay within Canada. So I assumed that they wanted to come and visit me in Africa, this wonderful, interesting, you know, dynamic place, but they did not want to at all. So when you're talking to people, you know, wouldn't you like a new car? You know, no, they may not want a new car. So, you know, just be careful. I urge you when you're talking to them, really try and press the way that Robert and David did with me to find out what it is that I wanted. They did have to press. I mean, they went through probably 10 or 11 things before they said, retirement, wouldn't you like to put money into retirement? And, you know, bang, the light bulb went on, and that changed the whole focus for me. Pessy already knew what he wanted to do, but you know, we were just two different people, and it was easy for him to dream, I guess, better than that I did at that time. So just be careful, I urge you. So for example, seniors and your mums and students, baby boomers, they all want different things. You know, a senior wants, you know, a peace of mind and, you know, and more accessibility in her home or his home, perhaps. You know, a mom wants to help her children. A student, well, it's their finances to get through school and not have to pay a loan when I graduate. Gosh, I wish this was around when I went to university. I went to university for 5 years and graduated with a huge blessed debt, you know, which my father graciously paid off, but I worked through it while I was going through university. Had I had something like this would have been one of my part-time jobs, and I would have worked it and graduated without having to have a debt. Baby boomers, they want something very different. A business person, again, they want to focus on their business. So don't assume that what you like or what you've heard everybody like is going to be applicable to them. Find out what's important to them. Find out what's important to them. I cannot stress it enough, because that is going to be the ease in which you are going to have the opportunity to present this to them. Doesn't mean they're going to sign up tomorrow, but at least you'll get them to look closer at this opportunity and to view the video. Okay, David? Okay, so qualifying prospects. Again, let's look at the first number one. You need to ask a curiosity question. Is there something you want to raise money that's important to you, personal or business? Do you need money for something? You know, if you had money, how would you use it? However you want to phrase it. And you know what? Phrase it rather. I have about 3 or 4 different questions, and depending on who the individual is, that's what question that I use. All right, so you know, tap into that. But just about that version of that question will work. Okay, then look at your circle of influence. Your circle of influence is your business, your personal, and your social group of people. I urge you here not to judge who will like this opportunity. Myself, Pessy, and David, you know, had a list. You know, I had a list of all kinds of different people of which I prioritized. And you know what? Those people at the top of my priority list did not even look at it. All right. The ones that we think are necessarily going to just jump onto this, it's not necessarily so. They very well may. And if they do, great. But you'll be surprised on the people who will jump onto this. Who will jump onto this? Typically, well, I'll give you the figures. The figures are 33% of people will jump on right away. That was Pessy and myself. And it's because we were prompted by somebody else that we trusted. We then met David and Rebelle, and we just liked them right away. Who doesn't like David? And so, you know, we looked at this closer. And then Pessy, as I said, Pessy and I work extremely well together. And, you know, we just kind of look at each other. And, you know, if we both smile, then we know it's a good thing, because I rely a great deal on Pessy's intuition. And if he doesn't smile, then I sometimes have to convince him, but I got a smile from him right away. So I knew it just resonated with me because I just liked the philosophy behind it. So again, you know, determine who you're going to go after. Put a list together, but don't judge on who they might be. All right. We went to people that, again, that we thought right away were going to be into it, and they were not. So that 33% is not going to jump right away in one of you folks. It is not. And there's only 33%. All right. Those part of that 33% was Pessy and myself, because we liked what it was all about. Immediately we liked all about, and we have each other to bounce things off of. So it worked well. Then you get the other 33% who are skeptical, and there's nothing wrong with being skeptical. Because they're wondering, you know, this just sounds too good to be true, or how come the banks don't know about this? How can you possibly earn this kind of money? And a lot of times that just comes from pure lack of knowledge of crowdfunding, or lack of knowledge of crowdfunding, or you know, just not, as Andrea had said, not having the ability to dream. You know, they're just a little bit leery about, and there's nothing wrong with that. These are the folks that want the I's dotted and the T's crossed. They need to research it, they need to understand it, and those 33% are significant. There's a lot of people out there that have those type of concerns, and as I said, there's nothing wrong with it. However, those are the folks that you're going to try and get them, you're going to ask them the question, you're going to show them trying to get them emotional about what it is that they want to do, and then you're going to hopefully get them to watch the video. Now, oftentimes these folks will watch the video because they got to examine it. They got to examine it inside and out, and they're going to watch it once, they're going to watch it twice, they're going to watch it 3 times, they're going to research it on the internet, and that's great. And on the internet, there's some good stuff and some bad stuff, and that's fine. But they'll come back to you with lots of questions, or you're going to approach them with a lot, you know, with, do you have any questions? And you're going to answer those questions. Will you have all the answers for those questions? No, you will not. And that's where you will call myself, Pessy, or David, and we will help you with those questions. Please, I urge you to call the 3 of us. That's what we're here for. We are the three amigos, the gruesome threesome, whatever people want to call us, we're here to support you because that's what we've decided we want to do. And we have been asked so many questions and have done so much research in this that we think, quite a few of the answers. So let us help you. And we'll, as I mentioned, or as I think I mentioned when I met some of you in person, we'll also do, as we're doing here, a Zoom conference, a webinar, or if they're in the same community, we will meet with these people as well. So let us help you from that point of view. All right, so that's the other 33%. The final 33%, 34% to make it 100, is the people that will just say to you, this is an absolute scam. There's nothing great about this. Why do I want to pay for somebody else's project, pay it forward? You know, why would I want to be involved in this? And these folks just are not, certainly not, as I say, your low-hanging fruit. These are not the folks that you're going to go after immediately because they just have too much skepticism about it. That's fine. Let them go. Interestingly enough, when this becomes more mainstream, those are the folks that will come on board, as will the other 33% that had all the questions and needed the answers. Okay, so that's typically the breakdown. All right, typically. Will you get the 33% right away that like it? No. You're going to have to do some work. This isn't a sit back and just send out the video type of endeavor. You need to work at this. All right, but the payout, believe me, is good, but it does take work. All right, so those are your folks that you connect with. People at work, people that you know, in your social network. Don't rule anybody out. You know, whenever I go to the gym, if I happen to be talking to somebody, I just bring it up. I just ask a question, is what I usually do. And, you know, some of them will say, oh gosh, yeah, this I wanted to. And others will say, why? Why do you need to know if I need money? You know, and I simply ask the question again. Well, you know what? This is what I need money for. What do you need money for? And soon you will get into a conversation often. We have one young lady, she's just excellent. She goes to Tim Hortons often because she likes Tim Hortons. And she's often on her own because she has 3 businesses. So she's all around running from one business to the next. And in between going from one client or business to the next, she pops into Tim Hortons. She talks to people in Tim Hortons. It's funny. There's a lot of people in Tim Hortons that are alone, and she's not shy, and she just joins them or asks them to join her, and she just asks them the question. And we have here in Ottawa sessions in which we give presentations and training, and she brings them to the presentations and the training. So, you know, she's not shy at all. No, it doesn't go for everybody, but you'd be surprised the response from some people. Okay, so those are the type of areas that you're going to look at. Again, I urge you to make a list of all of those people and don't have expectations. It's that simple. Just don't have expectations. Put it out there. See if it resonates with them, rather. And then if it does, send them the link and let them view the video. Okay, David? Okay, follow up with prospects. I cannot urge this more, folks, because people are busy. People have things to do Monday to Sunday, whether it's, you know, with social things, with their family, whatever. They are very busy. We're a very, very busy group of people, very busy race that likes to get things done and puts way too many things on our plate. So following up with your prospects is going to be very, very important. Okay, so you've spoken to somebody, you've asked them the question, you've found out what it is that they desire, wish, want, dream to do, and then you talk about all the wonderful benefits that it's going to give them, or they're going to tell you what those benefits are, and you're going to, you know, agree and talk further on it. Then you ask the permission to send the video, and they've sent them the video. Or, sorry, you're going to send them the video. And then you ask them at the same time, can I follow up with you? Let's say you've sent it on Saturday. Can I follow up with you Tuesday or Thursday? Okay. And, oh yeah, okay, I guess Tuesday is better. You know, is 10 better or 2 better? Okay, why do I ask specific days and specific times? Because if I asked you the question, when can I follow up with you? Oh, well, I don't know when it's, you know, it's going to be a time, in a week, you know, give me a week, give me Tuesdays, you know, maybe next Tuesday of the, whatever. Don't ask them an open-ended question, because you won't know when to follow up with them. But if you say to them, it's Tuesday or Thursday, they'll go, no, they'll do, yes, okay, Thursday's great. Or they'll do, no, neither of those days are great, but you know what, Saturday is pretty good. Well, Saturday morning better or Saturday afternoon better? Oh, goodness, well, afternoon, could you make it around 4 to 5? All right, people appreciate if you respect their time and their privacy. So if you've got a day and a time, a range anyway of when to follow up with them, A, they've said it, so it's their time, and B, you've respected their privacy and their time. Okay, so try and narrow it down to that. You may call back Saturday morning at 10:30 or whatever they had said to call, and they may not answer you, or you may email them and they may not answer you. That's fine, because as I said, they're going to be busy doing something. All right, but just follow up again. And you follow up no less than 3 days and no more than 7. No less than 3 days, because it's just too soon. You need to give them time to mull this over and review the video. They may not review the video. They may have looked at, the email and, oh, I'll look at this later. And that's fine. And many of them will do that. But your follow-up will be to remind them to look at the video. And no more than 7 days, because they'll definitely have forgotten about it. All right. You need to connect, keep it. It's gone. It's, it's way out of their mind. And it's just not a priority to them, at 7 days later. So follow up with them no less than 3 days, and try not to make it no more than 7 days. All right. You followed up with them. You ask them if they have any questions, and, ask them if they need help with you, and show them how the CFI can help achieve their needs. Again, if you have a concern or difficulty with doing that, just send them over to us, whether it's a phone call, whether it's an email, whether it's a webinar. Myself, Pessy, and David all have North American long distance, and I believe Pessy even has international. So we are here to help. All right, so they don't follow up with you after your 3rd time. They don't follow up with you after your 4th time. They don't follow up with you after the 5th time. I urge you to try and follow up in the different ways. One may be an email, one may be a phone call, one may be, a webinar or whatever. So do it, vary it up so that maybe telephone is easier as opposed to emails for them to respond to. But I urge you to follow up. The magic word, the magic number is about 7 times. People say, 7 times? I got to follow up with them 7 times? God, I'm bugging them. All right? You're not bugging them unless they tell you that you're bugging them. And if you feel odd about doing it, sometimes I do. It's my 5th time. Listen, I haven't heard from you. I understand that you're busy. I don't want to bug you, but I just want to, bring this to your attention again. And I urge you to send a video each time that you follow up. Because one of the problems that people have is going back down to the email that you have sent them, 3 days ago, which is now 199 on their email list, way at the bottom, and they've got to access it to bring up the video, okay, to watch again, because that's what your follow-up is, to ask them if they've watched the video. Okay, now make it simple for them. People go for things for the path of the least resistance. Make it simple to them, and send the video at the same time that you're doing the follow-up email. Or if it's a phone call, hey, I'll send you the video again. And by the way, it's only 15 minutes. Stress that to people that it's 15 minutes. I think it's actually less than 15 minutes, but it's very short. All right, so that they don't think that it's going to be an hour or something. So they say, oh, okay, I can perhaps fill in 15 minutes. I can handle that. All right, so follow up with them as often as you can. If after you're feeling uncomfortable, as I said, the magic number is 7, well, then stop with them. What I often get, because I do the follow-up. I've always done the follow-up, and you don't have anything to lose, folks. You really don't have anything to lose. You're not being mean. You are offering something positive. So don't feel that you're bugging them. And what I get often is, oh, thanks for the reminder. Oh, yes, you know what? I did look at it and had a few questions. Could we meet? All right. But you have to follow up with them. They're not going to follow up with you because they don't know how wonderful this opportunity is, potentially, to them. They have no concept of it yet. They may have liked the video, but they still don't see how their dream, want, need is going to materialize through this platform to the end result. So there is still a lot of work to do after you've got them to look at the video. Okay, so then once you've answered their questions, there may be a lot more questions for the answer. They still may have to talk to somebody about it, do more thinking, and that's fine. And again, you know, follow up with them. The initial follow-up doesn't pertain here. You're going to say to them, fine, hey, take your time. Is it okay if I follow up with you in a week? And they'll say, no, give me 2 weeks. Okay, and make a note, folks. Make a note. Make a note that you've got to follow up with these people at that particular time. I always urge people to use an Excel sheet, because at the Excel sheet, you can put the name, you can put the phone number, you can put details, about the video, and you can put follow-up time. Whatever headings that you want, you can put those all at the top of an Excel sheet, easy to access. I always color code mine. So, yellow means hot prospects. Green means, go, you follow through with them. A pale purple may mean follow up later. All right. So use an Excel sheet if you're familiar with it, and color coding is always a great idea too. Okay, David? All right, and this is David's time now. What David's going to talk to you about here is the starway system. This is the system in which we are remunerated, the algorithm and how it works. This is definitely David's baby here. This is not the easiest to understand, and if you have some questions with this, we'll certainly answer them after the this webinar. And we'll answer them later as well. And if you really still don't understand it or can't explain it to folks, again, call us, and we will actually call David. Call David or Pessy. They're both very good at the algorithm, and they can help you to understand it better, or they can even talk directly to your prospect. We also have some Excel sheets in which the algorithm is broken down on how it works, with some of the real keen people want to see this, and we can get that to you so that you can forward to them. All right, over to you, David.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up about that Excel sheet, because I just wanted to let people know, for anybody that likes numbers and wants to know how everything is broken down into the little pieces, we put together an Excel sheet that describes how every single dollar comes in and how it goes out and where it actually gets distributed to, right from the beginning, right off the 7th floor, which I'll go into detail on in a second. And you've got all the numbers right out to the actual cap that we're able to get per project. So anybody that wants that, I can forward that to them, or I can forward it to Andrea and Bill, and they can distribute it to you either way, whichever works best for you. So basically, what we're doing is, as you know, the premise of this system is based on the idea that in order to receive, first we need to give, which is the pay it forward mentality. So what they've done is they've put together a sequence of 3 steps, 7 floors, and the Starway system is just a name. There's nothing really more to it than that. It's just something, a name that they've given to it. And what these steps are is, we are responsible to contribute to other people's projects that came before us, before we're entitled to get all of the money for ourselves. So if you take a look at the bottom, which is 50, 50, and 100, that's where we all start, because the registration is 225 euros, and this is all in euros, by the way. It's 50, 50, and 100. So whenever, and you may have noticed this, whenever you start and you've done the registration and you've paid the 225, 200 euros goes into the pool that gets distributed to all the projects, which is 100% of it goes out. 25 euros goes to the company. So that first 200 euros covers step 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3, which is 50, 50, and 100, which adds up to 200. So that puts you at step 1.3. That is the only thing that you will have to put out of your pocket, ever. There's nothing else to pay. So that's one of the great things about this also, is that moving forward, the rest of the donations that we're going to make to other projects that came before us are come as a result of us sharing this with other people. And when other people become part of our donation tree, they contribute donations to us. And then when money is in our account, and I'm sure that most people will be happy to know that this is an automated process that you don't have to manage. Because when you first opened up your back office, if any of you looked at it, there's a little green button in the back and it shows that your Starway system is on. So when things happen, then the system is all automated and designed such a way that when money comes into your account, when you get another 20 euros from other people joining your donation tree, then what happens is it automatically contributes to that, and then it just keeps going back and forth to pay those for you. So you don't have to worry about, when do I have to go in and do this? And they said the first line, 50, 50, 100, that's it for you to have to pay. So I'm going to go forward, and I'll come back to this in a second. So what happens is, we begin by, first of all, registering ourselves, and then we share it with other people. And the donation tree is in the form of a binary, which means that it has a left side and a right side. So the very first person that we share this with that decides that they like what we're doing and they want to participate in them themselves, they register through your link. And then that person then becomes the first person that you brought in, and it shows up on your left-hand side, which is the number 1 that you see on the left. And what they will do is they're going to contribute 200 euros to your project, and that is the only time that you will get a donation from this person and this person. So you get 100% of the 200 euros one time from those two people, and that when that goes into your back office and adds into your account, then it's going to pay off. Those two people pay you off at step 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, and then 3.1, which is the 40 euros. So the 3.1, that's a result of those two people. And then that, remember, is donations that are coming in to your account and then being paid forward to other people's accounts that came before us in other projects. So as a result, what happens is we share this with other people, as we did with Bill and Andrea, as they've done with you, and then as a result, one goes on the left, one goes on the right, and then we in turn help them and continue to share it ourselves. And I'm going to get to another strategic point. An important point is that, so you can only have one person on your left and one person on your right direct to you. So what happens is then we then help those people share it with others while we're continuing to share it with others. So as a result, the one person goes on to the left of the first person on the left, and then another one on the right, and then on the right-hand side. You'll see a line down the middle. So I want to clarify something. This system has a left side and a right side. After the top position, the one on the left does not cross over to the right. The one on the right does not cross back over to the left. And if you have any questions, keep track of them in a second, and then we can address those things. But I'm not going to go too deep into this right now because I don't want to get anybody lost. So what happens is that we do 1 and 2, first, left, and right. Then we help others essentially do the same thing, and then we repeat the process. And ongoing, what we do is we in turn keep sharing it ourselves. And so what's going to happen as a result of that, I'm going to play out a scenario here. Let's say that the number 1 position has helped their first person on the left get 2 people, and the one on the right get their 2 people. Now, we have something that is called, in this system, spillover. because as I mentioned earlier, you can only have 2 people direct to you where you get 100%. So what happens as a result when you talk to your third person? Well, I've talked to Pessy, I've talked to Lise, and now I've gone to Andrea and Bill, and Andrea and Bill say, this is really cool, I like this, it resonates with me, I want to do this. So I give them my link, they register. So what happens is the system then goes down to the left, and it checks the first 2, which is the first 2 of my left and right, and it sees that there's 2 people there. Then it goes down, automatically it's doing this, and it's checking the number 1, 2, and the 1, 2 for those first 2 people, and it sees that they both have their 2 people. So now what it's going to do is it's going to go to the first available position from left to right. And now I'm going to play it out in this scenario that in the 3rd level down in the far left, I'm going to say that that's blank. So the third person that I've spoken with is going to be placed there, and the 200 euros is going to be contributed to the person above. And that's one of the powerful features of this, is because we're going to be constantly helping everybody working together, collaborating to build their donation tree as a result of this. So what happens is you go to the left, across, and then it goes down to the next level when that top level, the level above it is completed. So what happens is on your left-hand side, it fills in the first available position, contributing the 200 euros to that first person above them. So you've just helped that person gain their first person, and when they get their second person, their first person actually, then what's going to happen is that completes their 2. And as a result, when they get their next person, it's going to help somebody else in their donation tree. So we're always constantly helping other people to build their donation tree as a result of this. And I'll give you an example. Lise and Pessy and I have introduced about 60 people personally. And as a result of that, 2 of them were direct to each one of us. So that means that 54 people went down in our donation tree and contributed the 200 euros to somebody else in our donation tree. So we've helped out numerous people as a result of this, and then consequently other people doing their part then helped other people that we helped them with. So it's an ongoing process of pay it forward system that really works well. Now I don't want to go too much further with the spillover and with the levels. But what I am going to describe to you is that on the first 2 people, you get 100% one time. Now, how do we get the rest of the money? So what happens is when the first 2 people get their 2 people, when they contribute donations, that is your second level, you're going to get 50% of what they contribute to other people's projects that came before them. Then on the 3rd level, which is showing here, you're going to get 25% of the donations that those people make. And when it goes down to the 4th level, you're going to get 25% of what those people donate to other projects. And there's always a minimum of 3 different projects, which is pre-designated in the back office, that are going to be paid forward to other people's projects. So that means 50 for the 2nd level, 25 for the 3rd level, 25 for the 4th level. And when you've received all of your donations from people on the 2nd level, the 50% then goes down to the 3rd level. So it goes 50, 25, 25, and keeps rolling down to the bottom. So it keeps 50, 25, 25, and keeps moving down your donation tree, and you're receiving donations, which enables you to pay this. So as your donations are coming in, you're going to go 3.1 is 40, which you've done after 2 people. Then when other donations come in, when you have 200 euros in your back office, it's automatically going to go to 3.2. And then when you have 400 euros, it'll go to 3.3. Now the first magic number is at 4.1, which is the 80 euros. Anytime after you've donated the 80 euros in this Starway system, you are eligible to start withdrawing funds from this towards your project. It's not recommended at this time because it's a little bit too soon, because you have to be one step ahead of people in your donation tree in order to receive donations from them. So as you've gone through the 4th level, it's recommended that you go through the 4th level. Once you get to the 5th level, which is 160 is the beginning of that, then you can actually start taking funds out towards to fund your project, because you're far enough ahead of people in your donation tree, and you can take some of the money out. And when you reach that magical number of 7.3 from receiving other people's donations, of paying forward 6,400 euros, you no longer have to do any other donations whatsoever. That means that after that point, any money coming into your back office, you can withdraw daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you want, into your personal account, and it's donations that you receive until you reach the cap of your project. So in most cases, people have not set a big project because the cap is 3.4 million in total for every registration. So if you've set a project of 100,000 euros, and once you receive that, then what's going to happen is you can just resubmit another project, not have to pay another fee, and then you just carry on with the existing donation tree, and all the money coming in is yours to put towards your projects. So you start off in the 1st level, you go 4.1, then you can start withdrawing, and then as it accumulates and it keeps paying off these donations to pay it forward for other people, then you can take out some money, and then at 7.3, you're done with the donations, and then you get it back. So you can get back all the money to your account that comes in and start withdrawing it at any time that you want. So if you get 500 euros in and you want it, you take it just to get it deposited to your account, and then you use it. And remember, at this point in Canada, and I don't know about United States, right now in Canada, the donations are non-taxable at this point. That might change in the future, but just remember, you're not going to be paying taxes on this. It's like the equivalent of winning the lottery in Canada. If you win $1 million, you get $1 million. You don't pay any taxes on that. But once you invest it or put it into a business and start generating income or investment return, then you would pay taxes. So that's how this donation tree is built. It's built by us sharing. And remember, the spillover, which happens here, activity can come from above this one, the number 1 position on the top here, can come from the one on the left and the right, the first 2, and it can come from, as a result, from people below. And remember that we're always paying it forward, and other people are paying it forward to us. So that's an ongoing process, and it's all automated. And so that's essentially as far as I'll go with the donation tree, and we can get into more detail at another time, but those are the basics of it.
And the only thing I'd like to add, just because of my background, and when you're sharing with other people, you can say that it's currently not taxable, but understand that Revenue Canada could change its mind at any point. So with the surgence of crowdfunding, any of the taxation authorities in any world is treated differently. So I just want to put a cautionary note in that for anybody that's sharing this, in that you can say that as far as you are aware that it's tax-free, but I would encourage them to get to own that themselves, i.e. you don't want to be the one taking the responsibility for making that decision or making that statement, i.e. that's something they need to resolve for themselves.
Absolutely. Like in other countries, we don't know the regulations, so people have to find out those regulations in those countries. And in the back office, just so you're aware, because I mean, if Revenue Canada ever said, where are you getting all these donations coming into your account, you have a list of transactions that are in your back office under the transaction section, and it shows all of the donations, the current donations that you received, how much they are, when they came in. So it documents all that. So we definitely encourage people to keep track of that, do a screenshot of it, save those, because you can actually prove that those donations, and as Andrea was saying, that we can speak from a Canadian perspective, but at the same time, and anybody from any other country, they have to investigate how their country views this. And moving forward, as crowdfunding, which is exploding all over the world, it's going to possibly, there's going to be changes made in the laws and regulations. So we just want to cover ourselves, and we don't want to make promises that we can't deliver on. So that's I want to be clear with people.
Yeah, agree.
So that's really the simplicity of the donation tree. So just think of it as you share it with others. One goes on the left, one goes on the right. Continue to use your link, and it will naturally fill in all of the open spots, helping everybody fill in their tree, your tree, so that you're going to get all of the donations as they happen. And those will come in instantaneously. They come in when somebody registers. It shows up in your back office, and once you accumulate money to be able to attain the donations in the Starway system, then it will do that automatically for you. So do not turn the Starway button off. Leave it on. So I'm going to turn it back over to Lise now.
Okay, you can go forward with the slides. Okay, social media. There are many different ways to connect with people, to talk to them about this opportunity. Social media is one that some people use. It can be very effective. It is quite a detail to go into it, so we won't on this particular webinar. But if you see on this page, there is a link on our Facebook page. I don't know if everybody is joined there or not yet. But I urge you to do exactly that. Even if you are not a project manager, you're welcome to come on board. So that's the links on the social media page. What do we call it, David? The social media page?
Crowdfunding Ottawa.
Yeah, Crowdfunding Ottawa.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll actually send an email out with the link so that people can go and then ask. Everybody that's on this webinar right now, I'll forward it. And then Andrew and Bill will have it. And so anybody feels free to join it. And we'll obviously approve everybody that's coming on it. So.
Okay, so he'll send you the link. I urge you to join it. And on that Facebook page is this link to find out details about how you can effectively use social media. It talks about Facebook. It talks about Twitter, about Instagram, many of them. And for you social media folks out there who like to use this, these are just some ideas. I'm sure you've got others yourself, and we urge you, once you join the page, to talk about some of the ways that you have used. With social media, you need to be patient, because so many people, it's great because so many people see it, but it's hard sometimes to follow up with them because you're just following up with them on Facebook. I'd urge you to try and get a different contact, an email or a phone number, etc. The nice thing about using social media is it's international. Pessy uses it not a lot, but I know he uses LinkedIn, and we've had all kinds of different, he has had all kinds of different follow-up with people from India, Africa, Tasmania. So it's great from that perspective. So I urge you to use it. Okay, David? Okay, potential questions that you may get. There are going to be many. What we have talked about here is just some of the key ones, 3 key ones that you're going to get asked. One of the first things you're going to ask, is this a pyramid scam, or is this a pyramid scheme? You're going to get that often. And no, it's not. First of all, it's not a scam or a scheme. Is it a pyramid? Absolutely. It's a pyramid. Many things in life are a pyramid. Where you work, or not maybe where you work, but where many people work. We have a president, then we have a CEO, then we have managers underneath, and then we have middle managers, and then, below that we have different people. That's a pyramid. In your home, oftentimes there's a pyramid. Our lives often are based on a pyramid structure. So is this a pyramid structure? Absolutely. You saw the way David showed you the algorithm. You know, the first one is Andrea and Bill, and then underneath Andrea and Bill is Beverly and Annette, and underneath Beverly and Annette is Joseph and whatever. I don't know if that's the order, but it's a pyramid setup. So yes, it is a pyramid, but it is not a pyramid scheme. It is not a pyramid scam. And the reason that it is not a pyramid scam is there is no promise of payment through recruiting others. In a pyramid, you need to get paid. You are paid because the need of recruiting, and you have to constantly recruit people. And then unfortunately, the cream rises to the top. So the people who benefit in a pyramid scheme or a pyramid scam is those at the top, because you keep recruiting and it keeps flowing up, and the person at the top makes lots of money. Pyramid scams don't stay around often because of that particular factor. Amway is one of the biggest pyramid systems. It's not a pyramid scheme. It is not a pyramid scam. It is a pyramid layout which works very, very effectively. It is, however, network marketing. It is not crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is Apple's pyramid. Network marketing is oranges. They are two different things. They really are. Does the structure look the same? Yes, it does. But the way it works is very different. Okay, which is the next question. Is it MLM or is it multi-level marketing? No, and that is because CFI, Crowdfunding International, crowdfunding period, is not business-based. It is not a business, okay? It is simply a setup in which you help people gain their financial goal for whatever it is that they wish to acquire. And it is not, there is no product or service in this. As you can see, the only thing that you have here is helping people accomplish their dream, desire, need. All right, there is no product or service involved. MLM always has a product or a service. It is a business. This is not a business. As David mentioned, it is donation-based, and you receive donations, and he urged you to take a screenshot of all of the donations in your back office, because one day you may need to report that. And if it does become taxable, it becomes taxable. If I have to pay 30% or 40%, I'll pay 30 or 40% and then reap the other 60 or 70%. But right now, we don't have to pay on donations, so that's a huge plus. And as David talked about also, is our donations taxable? No, only if you use it for business purposes. Let me give you an idea or an example. One of our ladies in our group wants to do wants to create a local ashram. Now, and I don't know what her remuneration, the amount of that she wants to put towards it, but let's say it's $300,000 that she needs. So through Crowdfunding International, she will acquire those funds and she'll put $300,000 to build her ashram. If she charges people to enter her ashram, perhaps for different courses or different exercises classes that they have, and she charges them for that, that now is taxable. Okay, the thing that you set out to build is not taxable, but if you then build it or have it, acquire it, and then start charging a fee, then it becomes a business. All right, it's no longer for the donation, so it becomes a business, and that's where you will have to pay taxes. Okay, next slide, David. Okay, contact information. Please take this down. I think a lot of you have it already. I don't know if you have our cell numbers and our emails, but please feel free to contact us, as I mentioned earlier, for any questions, any concerns, because there will be, folks. There will definitely be questions and concerns. As this becomes more mainstream, as it becomes, more clear to people, as people gain things from it, then there'll be less questions. But we're not quite there yet. A lot of people, when we meet them here in Ottawa or on webinars or phone calls or whatever, they say, is anybody in Ottawa or Canada been off the 7th floor yet? And unfortunately, we don't have, we can't say yes to that. And we're all very close. Pessy, David, and myself are all very close. We're all on the 6th level, and we'll soon be finished the 6th level and on to the 7th level, which is the toughest, but we'll get there. And when we get off of it, then we will have some information on which to share with people. But just to give you a little bit of information, because people will ask this, to share with you folks that somebody else shared with us is this. The folks in France, they were very ambitious about this, and they went at it and did very, very well very quickly. There's a small group of them. And one gentleman shared with us that once he was off the 7th floor, he was looking at acquiring about 89 to 95,000 euros for the year. Okay, he's not paying any donations for it. All because he's built his team. He's built his team of over 200 and whatever number of people, minimum 254 people. He's built this team, and he no longer has to pay the donations, as David showed you in the formula. So anything coming forward to him in his team is all now his. So that 89 to 95,000 euros that I mentioned is the anticipated, and probably at this point, because that was over 6 months ago, at this point he is now accumulating it, is the amount that he anticipates he will accumulate for the first year. Okay, this is, as I said, donation, so there's no tax on it. What will he then acquire the following years? A year? Again, it was an estimate of about 189 to 96,000 euros for the following year. Again, this is all stuff that is just coming in. He has not paid forward. He hasn't input another amount, 225 euros. As David mentioned, you only pay it once. This is just simply what his team is doing. That's the magic. That's where you really start to feel it. David mentioned you can take money out before. I've taken money out before. I've taken money twice out before. Took a little bit before Christmas to help me get through Christmas. I took a little bit before when I took a leave of absence because I needed it. And that's fine. And it really hasn't held me back because I've just kept working it. Myself, David, and Pessy work it, and we just keep going forward with it. So those two amounts that I have quoted to you are revenues that you will, approximately again, that you will be looking at once you get off the 7th floor. As I said, that's euros, so you're looking at, certainly for the first year, that's over $100,000, and for the second year, over $200,000 Canadian. A lot of people, and then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger if you work it. Your team will keep working because they will work. There are people on your team that will work. Not all of them. Not all of them will come. Many come on board and think it's great, but they may not continue it for whatever reasons, and that's not for us to judge. But some people, there's a core on your team that will work it, and then if those people continue to work it and they bring on people that continue to work it, then that money will continue to flow. And if you continue working it, well, then it's inevitable. It'll keep growing. For a lot of these people, this is a subsequent income. When CFI International started this in 2015. They looked at building this as a subsequent income to people's existing income. They wanted people to have an opportunity to have a little bit of extra money for, the extra trips, the extra things that you put on your house, the, natural medicine, which is expensive, do a little bit more of that. They simply wanted it to be an addition to our existing revenues. Many of them now are not working on their existing businesses or occupations because this is just grew so big for them and they're just tapping into this. But doesn't mean that you don't have to. It is simply as your choice. So that's the kind of revenues that you're looking at. So contact information is here. Please, we urge you to connect with us with any question, any question. All right, which goes on to the next. You can put up the next slide, which I believe is dream big, and let's open it up to questions. No question is silly, folks.
So what do you think about
Like on our regular monthly newsletter, just putting a little, like a screenshot of international crowdfunding is just kind of a, what is this? It's something that we've become involved in. Is that such a good idea? Or on our website?
Excellent idea. Fabulous idea. The wherever you can put it, and that's wonderful thing within your businesses to put it as much as you can. That is marketing. That's a form of marketing. What I urge you is to put a call to action. The curiosity question is, is there something you'd like to raise money for? That's the curiosity question. That's a call to action. Okay. The call to action means that they have to answer that. So you don't want to just put a canned advertising with a pretty logo and this is what we're involved with. That's fine too. But addition to that, put in perhaps the curiosity question or whatever you believe your clients are going to be interested in. They're going to read it and they're going to, this is interesting. Let me talk further to Jeannie or Dale about this. So make sure that there is a call to action in there. If you need any help with that, Jeannie and Dale, just ask.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And it was funny because it's funny that you guys asked that question, because Bill and I were talking offline a little bit about things that we'd like to use, right, to inspire people. And so one of the things I'd like to talk offline to Lise, Pessy, and David about, and maybe Bill and I can take the initiative, is how to then spin this to get people to understand who are more in the holistic field, to get them to understand the ripple effect of a shift in awareness and consciousness for humanity if this was to take off. And the funny example that came to me, Jeannie, was what if Medicine Hat, like the whole town of Medicine Hat, decided to do this? Think about what would happen to a particular locality, right? If money was taken off the table, boundaries would be dropped, people would be more willing to connect, competition, in theory, would be gone. Now, I don't know that, but think of the potential of what that would mean. And so there is, beyond this call, Bill and I will just have an offline conversation. I think a message that we'd like to craft as this group, even, especially the ones that are on this call, of how we spin this that's in alignment for what we're putting out into this world.
Excellent. And that's a great point, Andrea, and we're definitely open to hear that and have that discussion, hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'd love that. That excites me because it's a different way for those that get to that world to open their consciousness to the possibilities.
Absolutely. And it goes back to targeting your client. Or your potential client. We address so many different types of potential people. Pessy is an excellent writer and he's an excellent spiritual writer, and we write in a couple of spiritual magazines. Now, but I always urge a call to action there. Call to action is going to be very different for spiritual beings than it will be for somebody who's not. So if we're advertising, for example, in a business journal or in a business newspaper or wherever, what we say there is very different. When Pessy writes in the, this spiritual magazine, that is very different as well. We talk their language. So it really depends on where you're putting it. And again, if you need some advice on that, as I said, we've done it. So please just ask. Just ask. Really, that's my background, marketing, and I've done it in all kinds of different sectors, and that really I can do in my sleep. So I'm not at all. Please email me and call me or whatever. I'm happy to help you with that. I enjoy it, and it's really something that's not difficult for me.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing, targeting it to this group. So I like what Ben and Bill are bringing into it. I do have a question of, so it's looking like we're needing more assistance to get through the approval process. That has changed.
I agree, because I'm having problems.
Yeah, I was wondering if you can talk about that, because like from existing ones that are on that platform, some look simple. I got rejected, I think, 2 or 3 times, and it's difficult. So,
And
know
can I
we can go to
can I
you.
ask them to mute their phones if they're not speaking and kind of control that part, because I'm getting background noise?
Excellent, Joseph. Very good question, and I'm going to pass that to David.
Okay, Joseph, what I've done is I've contacted the company because as we're spreading this thing out through people over the country and around the world, that means that we're using technology to communicate. So we want to get as much information to people as possible. When the registration appears in front of you for the first time, if you're not prepared, then what happens is, as they change the process, you have to put your project in. So what I've done is I've asked the company to give me the link which lists the criteria to what they need and what they're looking for to put the project together. So when people are interested before they register, then we can spread this, I mean, as a responsible for ourselves, if we can spread this link around to the people that are interested so they can take a look at it before they start writing up their project and they have a better understanding what is the company looking for, because it started one place and then they've changed the process. So this link I now have, and I can pass it on to everybody on this call, and then we in turn can keep track of that and then pay it forward with people so that they understand the process before they start the process. So that would help to alleviate for projects being delayed. But just so you can be assured, as long as the project has a solid foundation, it's legal and it's ethical, and it's what they're mainly looking for is that the single projects, I mean, this is a simple idea, single projects, not multiple projects that combined together as one. And so these are just the things that we just need to communicate to other people. This link will help do it, and that'll help clear up some of that so that the approval process first of all, does not stop us from sharing it, because you can still go ahead and share it even before your project is approved, and you will still get donations. So don't let that stop you, number one. So number two is when you do submit it, when you get the approval process, which is fairly quick, and then it does get changed. Once we have that criteria, we'll be able to eliminate a lot of people not getting approved first time around. So that'll help.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. Send out the link when you do have the info.
Okay, now I've got it. I'll forward it right after we get off the call. I'll be able to forward that link to everybody.
In brief, guys, just keep it, as David said, unilateral. Don't put a whole bunch of things that you want to put in there, because you can once that project's finished, you can do another project, or you can even add to that project. It's just getting that project on. So instead of saying that I want to build a school and I want to help the roads in Haiti, just focus on the school and then decide how much money that you want to allocate towards that. Once that's accomplished, then you can add to that project that you want to expand the school, or you want to add, better roads towards the school, whatever. So just keep it as simple as possible. The other thing is make sure the amount that you put towards that project, it coincides to the value of that project. So I want to build a school in Haiti, as I mentioned, that's going to room 25 kids. It's pretty inexpensive over there to build it, so you wouldn't put $1 million for to build a school in Haiti. They'll say it doesn't take that amount of money to do that. It has to coincide. So $100,000, yeah. $150,000, $200,000, yeah. That's definitely a good figure to use, because it reflects, what it would cost to actually do that project. So that sort of things. But that link will help for sure with the criteria.
And while we're on the subject of registration, that the payment options was what got me. And what I discovered, I thought it was because it was a PC MasterCard that was the issue, but actually it was because it was a European transaction, and our credit card saw it as they blocked it. So once that was straightened out and I alerted them that yes, this payment was coming through and it was legit, then it was no problem, but it took quite a bit to get to that point.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's unfortunately a bit of a trial and error. And again, as you did, Jeannie, just connect with one of us three. And David's great at this stuff. He really knows it inside and out. And hopefully we can get you through the process quicker.
Just an alert, just automatically phone your credit card company and just say this is coming through. That would have solved the problem.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. Very, very good. Has anybody received any questions from people they've talked about that they'd like to share? Or comments, good or bad?
Yeah, Lisa, I have one. We had a lady here that is in financial straits and that, and she wanted to know about a payment plan. Would it be for our best good to start a person off with a from us?
So I'm going to clip in on that one. You could. That's an option. The other option is remember that 4% of the sale of every technology that we do goes into a fund to fund the dreams of people who genuinely can't afford it.
Right.
And so for those on this call that are in the tight-knit community, what I've basically said is you can offer them that. i.e. what I've done is we've funded 3, soon to be 4 projects on CFI where I've said to them, you pay what you can afford. So if they want to do a payment plan and they give us $100 every month, sure, that money will just go back into the fund. I'm great with that. But part of our direction was to take money off the table and say to people, stop letting money stop your dreams. And so I've had one woman gift me $20. I had somebody else pay us $200 and somebody else, 2 other people pay us nothing. That's cool. Like I believe in the pay it forward aspect, and part of Clear Conscious is this 4% fund. So that option sits there. As far as I know, CFI is not, offering that, and I don't blame them from a mechanism standpoint.
Yeah.
But the other thing you could do is say to them, so if that's what they want to do, then what if they took X amount per month and then just put it into a bank account, and when they hit the 350 mark, which is the Canadian equivalent roughly, then they can register their dream. Like, in other words, there are creative ways to say to people, you can do this, but you have to really want to do it. Because even when we offer our fund to people, do you know that people don't take us up on it?
Interesting.
So money is not the issue.
Yeah, you're right. Money is not the issue, Andrea.
No,
yeah.
It is not. That's total bullshit.
Yep.
And so that's
it's
just
believing we can dream. Yeah.
It's believing that it's possible and that we can dream. And that's the shift.
Yeah. And it's the commitment to doing it. It's the commitment and the belief in this. Myself and Pessy have given money to people. We've actually given money without asking for a little bit what they can afford, sort of thing. It was a bit of our mistakes. With some, no, it wasn't. They were great. They went forward. We have one gentleman that Pessy gifted. I believe he's paid him a bit back since, but I mean, he's one of our gunners. He's great. He was committed to this. We had a feeling he was committed to it. We had a feeling of others that were committed to it, and we gave money, and well, that didn't quite go as we had planned. So to answer thanks for your comment, Andrea, that it's fabulous what you guys are doing. And to answer Dale and Jeannie, for sure, it's a great idea, as Andrea had intimated, but try and get them to input whatever they can afford. If it's $10, $20, $100, because that's their commitment to it. All right, that's just their commitment. Because if they don't invest anything, they don't have anything to lose, right? So it's just that investment. That's their way before they get into anything of saying, yes, I'm interested in this. Will they fulfill it and really work hard? Who knows? As I said, we've been surprised about those who have worked hard at it and surprised that have not, for those that have not. But being able to offer something like that is wonderful. I mean, there are so many people here that cannot afford it, who cannot afford, what we think is not a big investment. for them, it's a very big investment. We try to do a lot of work overseas, and we're having a problem with that. And we're trying to work with churches, get the churches to help them contribute. We're trying to get other people on our team helping to try to contribute, to get these folks going. In Africa, some of these people, it's all in shillings, and converting into shillings, if $10 US is really difficult for them. But we're working at trying to get them to invest in that, and then go forward. How they pay it off, how you want to set that up, is entirely your desire and your means on how you want to do that. But I think when I hear people ask that question, I just love that question. That's the whole thing of what this is all about. This is truly about helping people who cannot afford it. That's the reason Pessy and I got into it. We want to help anybody, but who can really benefit from crowdfunding are those that can afford it. And if we can, graciously give them a start to that, you will be surprised often on what they can do. And what the best part of it all is when you see what they accomplish, their dream, whatever their dream is, when you see the joy, the happiness, the satisfaction, the peace, the lack of stress, in their face and in their mannerisms, in my opinion, there is no better result. There is no better show that you've done the right thing. Any other comments that you've heard from people? Please don't get discouraged. And when you get discouraged, call us or email us. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time. And I hope it's been helpful.
When is your next meeting in Ottawa?
Well, we haven't started that up yet. And that's Jeannie, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, no, we haven't started up yet. We were having it every Wednesday. We did a presentation every Wednesday in the evening at a lovely retirement center that they have graciously given to us to use every Wednesday. And we were doing training every third Monday. We stopped it for the month of December simply because everybody was preoccupied with Christmas. So myself, Pessy, and I, and David, David, and Pessy are going to get together and put together our plan to start those up again. You're probably looking at February. First one to start.
We have a prospect that is going to be here this weekend. That he is from Ottawa. So thought we'd try and set him up.
Okay, excellent. And if he wants to look at it sooner, let us know, and we'll just meet him one-on-one. We meet a lot of people on one-on-one.